time for real. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, Hector Longo, and you here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Beautiful Sunday morning in the Merrimack Valley. Tim Wood. Pleasure to join these esteemed gentlemen to talk MVC football. Hector, how are you this morning?
Oh, I thought we didn't have guests. Who is he talking to, Bill? Jeez. Esteemed guests. We're doing great, fellas. We're doing great. Playoff time in the lovely Bay State here, and everybody's whining about the playoff system and how the blowouts and blah, 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 blah. I've had enough of it. I am angry this morning, and I'm ready to get issue-oriented. So let's go, fellas.
Boom. Dropping it. Dropping the mic. Hector Longo.
Bill, I've had enough.
I've
had enough with the playoff system. They too many blowouts. Mike Lynch even calling people out this week. All right, Mike, I
saw that.
I got you. Honestly, I still haven't forgotten Mike Lynch for 1982 when he had the 5-second call against us with Central Catholic against Lexington. I'll never forgive that. It was 3 seconds, Mike Lynch, you referee. So I'm calling him out right now, and he knows it was only 3 seconds.
Oh, wow.
But anyways, I digress.
Here we go, baby. Let's talk about Catholic schools too.
But I digress.
A little bit of everything in there.
It is playoff time. It is playoff time. And
that's Mike Lynch calling right now.
Oh, God. I don't know, fellas. I just don't know.
I mean, when you're in, right? Like, why are we whining about it now? Like, if we're gonna fix it, we'll fix it. We'll fix it after the season. But I just think it takes away from the kids right now. So we lost Hector.
FCC cut him right off.
Yep. Apparently he got muted.
I'm not cut off. That was my son on the road. I just wanted to make sure he was okay.
Okay.
So I muted my mic for a second. It's okay, fellas. So
I got nervous with Hector. I thought someone was going to crash through the window with the M16 and take you out.
The WCVB bullies.
Look, I'm going to say it right now, okay? The giant monster in the room with this football playoff thing, there are two of them. First, 8 divisions is stupid, okay? It's stupid.
Sure.
There should be 5. That tightens things up. That eliminates the bad teams. Second thing, there should be no Thanksgiving football. You either have playoffs or you have Thanksgiving. You can't have both, all right? I know all you people, you traditionalists are out there angry at me. You got to have Thanksgiving. The kids love it. I agree. Then go back to the old system in 1972 where 6 teams made the playoffs. There was 1 Super Bowl for 3 divisions, or I'll even go to 10 this year, and that's it. Because now you're talking player safety. You're talking too long a season. We're the only state that still sticks with this archaic play until your fingers freeze off on Thanksgiving system. It's got to end. I'm sorry. It has to end. All right, I said a lot. I'm sorry, guys.
Bill, Thanksgiving, go.
I agree with Hector.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, I grew up with Thanksgiving. We played Lowell for 100 years in a row. It ended. What has happened is that game, the legendary Thanksgiving Day games, are slowly drifting apart. So you have 50% of the teams don't care. The people aren't showing up to Thanksgiving games. It's lost its effect and it's impacting the playoffs. So let's make a decision. Let's stick with it and let's finalize the playoffs so it actually is completely set and there's no more discussion. And I think they're trying to do both, which is not the MIA. They usually make a decision that they're for and how it helps them. So I'm surprised at this, but get rid of them. Let's fix the playoffs, and it's all done.
Bill, in our day, that was the playoff game for everybody.
Right.
I got it. I agree. It was a playoff game. It meant something. It was special. You had the tradition of Lawrence Lowell. Now, it's just not there. Masco and Everett. There's no tradition with Masco and Everett. Sorry to talk from my personal point of view, but on Thanksgiving morning, Masco and Everett is a joke. It's ridiculous. Why are we playing? Just because the kids want to have something to do? I just don't get it. Honestly,
Hector, I'll say this. For my kid, it does mean something. They play Drake it this year. It will tie the series. So in this house right now, for his perspective, he loves that day. They lost it last year. They played Wednesday night. The year before, Drake it upset them. my kids have been furious for the last 3 years about Thanksgiving. But at the end of the day, if we sit down and have a conversation, it's ruining the ability to have a real playoff system that eliminates all of the complaints and all of the craziness. So, you're right.
And listen, I'll give a shout out to Logan at Merrimack Valley Sports Report. I mean, he took a shot at a realignment, and that's certainly one of the things he said. He's coming here from Arizona, where they've got it all figured out, and looking at this system. He said the same thing. You can't have both playoffs or Thanksgiving. Pick one. Pick a lane.
Talk to anybody. Talk to people.
We have more divisions. We have more divisions than states like Florida and California and Texas, who are football giants.
Yeah, we're just not that good.
Or that big. We're not that big either.
Yeah,
it's got to be contracted, and it's either got to be Thanksgiving or not. Because, like I said, Thanksgiving used to be your playoff game. Okay, because in the 70s, you had 6 teams playing in the Super Bowl. That was it. 6 teams in the state. And they had the rating system and the points and the this and then that. And always somebody complained because they were 10-0 and didn't get in. But at least you had Thanksgiving. Now, with this system, I'm trying to just think of a team. Methuen High School, I'm sorry, Bill, loses the first round.
Yep.
For the next 2 weeks, they got to play games that don't mean anything, okay, with kids who haven't been the most
competitive,
competitive, whatever the awards you want in the last couple of weeks. Now let's see. I walked the dog this morning. I saw the hard freeze out there. It's cold out there now. Do you really want to go practice when it's 35, 40 degrees and you're playing for nothing against the team that's?
But we'll flip it on Haverhill. Haverhill uses this as an opportunity to right the ship, get their first win. So it's.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Haverhill. You had 7 chances. You had 7 swings. I'm sorry. I love Tim O'Connor. I'm happy for them, but you had 7 swings. Wait till next year. This is it should be an 8 or 9 game season in the playoffs. You had the 8 weeks. You could have had an 8-game season. Then you have playoffs. I have no problem if you have 5 or 6 divisions and you have it this wide open with quarterfinals, semis, finals. In each one, or quarterfinal, semis, sectional finals, and state finals. That's not an issue with Thanksgiving. Honestly, to me, that's fine. You have your 8-game season, then you're playing 12. Now you're talking about teams playing each other twice, and I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't get behind it anymore. It's tough to deal with. It's tough to do, and I know it upsets people. And I don't care about the blowouts. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? There are blowouts everywhere. Look at the Texas State tournament. Look at the Indiana State tournament. Look at the Rhode Island State tournament. There are first-round blowouts. 1 versus 8. Look at the New Hampshire State tournament.
Yep.
Right next door. There are going to be first-round blowouts next week. I'm guaranteeing. And
listen, guys, there's games we're not going to talk about today, okay? And there were a couple blowouts. Chelmsford got blown out. Drake got blown out by Revere. We're not going to talk a whole lot about those games, okay? Because it played out. It played out to seed, So
yeah, it does, and I'm sorry, I'm so fired up about it, but that doesn't bother me. Teams earn the right to play in the playoffs. The teams that won on the last day and then got in, and or did what they had to do, like Methuen winning 4 in a row early. They got a chance to get in. They didn't do anything with it. That's fine. You're out. It's okay. Let's celebrate Andover playing next week against Everett.
St. John's.
St. John, sorry, my bad. Let's celebrate that. Let's not look backwards. It happens. Lexington got in. You knew Central was going to pound them, but that's all right. Maybe the 1 out of 1,000 upset happens. Maybe it doesn't. But
locally, we wanted to see Central Lawrence, but it didn't happen. Lexington got in, and Central took care of business.
Right. So
cream rises to the top.
There's going to be blowouts no matter what. That's the way this game is. It's football.
There could be blowouts this coming weekend as well.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm sure there will be, Bill. I'm sure there will be, too. A team with a decent record from a weaker league gets in against somebody else, and, kablooey, it's big. But
Like we
I
heard
just
from we heard from Ryan Rametta. Lynn English is probably one of the best 7 seeds going, and they almost took care of business against Tewksbury, which is a solid team. So
I mean, Drake last year was a very formidable 7 seed, and they showed it. They had the momentum going at the right time of year, and they showed it against Marblehead. This year, not so much.
And I mentioned it already, and I'll say it one more time. Player safety, okay? Do you want to turn parents off? Then tell them we're playing 13 games or whatever it is, and the last 4 might not mean anything, but wait until Thanksgiving or 12 games. I'm sorry, okay? The season starts in 110-degree weather in August. It doesn't need to end in 12-degree weather on Thanksgiving. It just doesn't anymore. And I know that's sacrilege in Massachusetts to say it, but that's how I feel.
All right, let's have a little segue though, because I think for the viewers, the viewers are a little concerned for Hector right now.
Yes.
They don't understand where some of the frustration, and I want to put it in perspective. Hector last week finally lost the fan poll for the Player of the Week, so he's struggling with that right now. So I just want to put in perspective
very gracious on Twitter. Very gracious.
I was very correct. I was correct this week, and I picked that Lawrence continues to come out on on support of their players. And
Bill, it was a bag job. It was a bag job. Tim was going with you no matter what to make it. No matter what, he was going with you. It's fine. You have to put me in my place. I can deal with that. I can deal with being humbled a little bit. I know truly who deserved it, and you guys.
Okay, but the other weeks where I know the other weeks where I knew truly who deserved it, that didn't count.
So technically, the kid that I chose and the fans picked the right player. Tim at that point was irrelevant.
He just jumped on the wagon at that point.
Listen, I'm fine with the Mike Greenberg role here. That's fine. I get it. Hey, as long as it turns into a $10 million payday and a show nobody watches, I'll take that route any day.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
Hey, congratulations, Bill. 1 in a row, baby. 1 in a row.
I'm very humbled. I'm very.
Yes, humble. Yeah. That's the absolute word. The first word I think of when I think of Bill Bryant.
When does his acceptance monologue kick in, Tim? When do we have to have?
I know the Academy for that? Everybody, yeah. All right, and we said it. Jacob Tomeo, Player of the Week last week for Lawrence. This week, your candidates. We had a flash poll, and we've been doing this last couple weeks to give you the viewer the chance to chime in on the 4th player. This week we had a ridiculous amount of worthy candidates. It was Aiden Pereira, Dasani Houston from Haverhill, Brian Hamilton from Billerica, and Manny Lara from Lawrence were the 4 for the 4th vote. Manny Lara wins the flash poll. He is the 4th candidate. He joins Josh Ramos, Tyler Keogh from Tewksbury, Will Schimler from North Andover, and Manny Lara, your 4 candidates this week. Get online until Tuesday midnight. We're already off to a roaring start. And again, I mean, hey, listen, Lawrence, you're getting out the vote, all right? You're getting out the vote. Manny Lara had a huge game. I am not going to put that down whatsoever, and especially with Lawrence getting out the vote. I will tell you this week, I am going my own way. I'm not going with the fans. We had three guys in the middle of big wins, and I'll put it out there right from the get-go. Josh Ramos. So chew on that through the rest of the show. Make fun of me. Bring it on.
I am shocked.
I know it is a shock, right? It is a shock.
Hearing that name come off your lips, I can't. I thought you'd never say that name.
Yep, I know. Who
was Josh Ramos? I've never heard that.
We'll get to why. We'll get to why.
I thought he was a left tackle. How was a left tackle?
We'll get to why he may be worthy. We will, as Bill mentioned, we've got a couple great interviews. We got Will Chicko from North Andover after their huge win. Yes, and Jim. We'll get Jim up on the screen. Jim Cunningham chimes in. Congratulations to Tyler on his 2nd nomination. And again, congrats to Tewksbury on the big win. We'll talk about that, and we will talk about that one with Ryan Rametta, the QB from Tewksbury, breaking down all the games when we get back here on the show. We'll take a quick break, come back at you in 2 and 2 here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now right-in-place insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and MapFreight, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? I just asked Val and his crew to find me a better auto and home insurance deal, and he connected me with Plymouth Rock, where I'm saving more than 40% over my previous insurance. Now, your results may vary, but give Davila and DeFusco a try. They pride themselves on having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or check them out at daviladefusco.com. Big shout out to the folks at AFC Urgent Care, Lisa Williams and her team over there. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. You'll never need an appointment. Got that persistent cough and cold, that cut that needs a few stitching, or need a sports physical and don't want to wait weeks to get into your primary doctor? AFC's streamlined approach helps you be seen quickly and feel better fast. In Methuen, in the Merrimack Street Medical Professionals Building, 380R Merrimack Street, in North Andover as well, in the Burton Grill Plaza, 8 to 8 Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Go to afcurgentcare.com for more details. Back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. So, before we jump into the games, wanna just give a promo to a promotion that we're gonna try this week. Might fall flat on our face, but we're trying to do some fundraising as we take on some other projects and try to improve the show, improve all the things we're doing with the MVC. Trying a football squares contest as a fundraiser this week, folks. Our first game that we're doing it for is the November 10th, a week from Sunday. So we're kind of getting it out there a little early. Doing it for the Sunday night football game, Vikings-Cowboys. 100 squares total for you to choose. $10 per square. Buy as many as you like. As you see on the screen, send your money on PayPal or Venmo. Once the money is received, we will send you a link to pick and track your squares online. We will update it online on all the different social media channels throughout the week in terms of what squares are still available. Once it's filled, we will put in the numbers. Chance to win: 25 for first quarter, 50 for halftime, 75 after the third quarter, $100 for the final, and then the bonus here and
is when they put their name in, they're to put the school they're from and who they're supporting.
Exactly. When you send your money in, make sure you let us know what school you're representing, and the school that has the most support, that buys the most squares, that school will get $100 of this pool money. Made out to their all sports boosters or their boosters in that city. So fundraiser for us, fundraiser for some booster programs, little competition, little way for you to make a little scratch. So hope you'll get in on the contest. All right, speaking of contests, gentlemen, let's talk about let's get Central Catholic Lexington out of the way. All right, it's 42-7 Central. As we mentioned, 1 versus 8 gets it done. Aiden Pereira, 9 of 10, 133 passing yards, 4 TDs, passes in the first half, basically. Jermaine Wiggins, 3 catches, 61 yards, a 12-yard TD catch. Raiders defense was on fire, allowed just 28 total yards, negative 40 rushing yards, and it was led by Matthew St. Hilaire, 2 sacks, Dominic Petty, 1 sack, Brendan Sasati, 1 sack, Nick Palmer, 1 sack, and the guy that Coach A was trying to pronounce and the players try to pronounce, Uyu Osayimwen. I will give that my best effort. Nate Hebert, a TD catch. Nick Donadio, TD catch. Mark Cassis, a 49-yard touchdown run. Big things all around for the Raider sector.
Okay, so I'm going to start with this. Last Sunday down in Foxborough, I see my man Jermaine Wiggins Sr. standing with his boys in the corner as you go to the Patriots locker room, like right on the field on the side. And I always see him there during the playoffs and stuff. So I obviously brought up, Central in the playoffs and this and that. This is a football team that was not happy with the draw that they got. Okay, at least Mr. Wiggins was sure to tell me that that having to face Everett in the semis is not something they were looking forward to because of the way the seedings broke down and Andover moving here and this. So this is an angry football team, and they took it out on Lexington on Saturday, and they took care of business. A quality, professional. They hate us because they ain't us kind of win, and now
that's Wiggins' line. They hate us because they ain't us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I said it, Tim. Obviously, it's not my line. I would never think of stealing that one, but just simply put, it was an angry Central team. They took it out on Lexington, and now the real fun begins.
So the private Catholic school is feeling like they're being unfairly treated.
Yes, they're aggrieved.
I've heard it all at this point.
I never said unfair. Bill never said unfair.
I'm gonna go run and get my violin.
Not the way.
Let me go get my Stradivarius. Hold on. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, I didn't say they were whining. I didn't say they said it was unfair, but they're angry about it. So good for them. Use it, right? The Patriots have won 27 Super Bowls doing that.
That Hector, I agree with you. The Patriots have learned how to manufacture that type of a thing.
That
but
motivation.
Come on now.
Yeah.
You knew my response was coming.
Come on.
Yeah, but no, I hear you, Bill. I hear you, but
it's
like
the
I said,
playoffs. It's playoffs.
I was just trying to set up, a little inside story. It was, let's be honest. The two sons didn't say a word about it, but man, Jermaine Sr. He was and he was
I know
not
just
happy
in terms of how the seedings like what did they think it was going to be?
Well, St. John's
ever dropped. Yeah, and exactly. So, Central could have easily been the 2 and stared at Andover, the Andover Thune winner, in this case Andover, and the way it broke down. That's all. Again, there's that power thing and this, that, and points for this win and points for that win, and if somebody beats somebody, you add your points. I got it. I don't want to take a math class here.
They wanted to be the 2 seed, basically.
No. All said and done, let's be honest. The whole thing looked weird. Them being 1 over St. John's, number 2, Andover jumping up 3 over Everett. I have had more people this past week because, hey, when we talked about doing this show, it was right from the get-go, coaches and the players. Yep. As much as we want the fans and all that, I've had more fans this week come to me or just parents. I don't get the seedings. Why was Everett this and St. John? Totally baffled. And do you really want to have a playoff system that is aligning where people are so confused by the rankings and all that? You got to clean it up as far as here's the math. This is what we do, but it's not. It's unfortunate.
All kidding aside, I absolutely understand the frustration but at the same time, I mean this will get them stronger going into St. John's if they're able to get past Everett, to have that game,
Yeah, no, for sure, Tim. And and like I said, they took it as they made a positive out of it. So good for them. Quality stuff from them this week. They made a positive out of it, and took care of Lexington without any issues, no problems, and that's it.
Dave DePalma chimes in saying Central Everett game of the week statewide. You think?
I haven't seen the whole list of games, but it's as big as it gets out there. I mean
D1.
I can't tell you what's going on in the South. Honest to God, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
To me, it is. I mean, think about it. Everett has been a perennial superpower. Central's always in the mix, and how is that not the game of the week?
I mean, you look at shared opponents. Central beat Springfield Central 52-42. Everett, first game of their season, they lost to Springfield Central 40-12. And then the other one is Everett beat St. John's 32-27 in the third week. Central lost to St. John's 28-14 in the second week. So, it's never apples to apples in terms of momentum and how the team's gelling at that point in the season. But I mean, it's the comparison we have.
Right. But what it tells you is Everett fixed their woes after week one to beat a team like St. John's. So to me, you have two teams now that are in a crash course. And I think that's more what Wiggins is probably talking about is Everett is no joke. So to face them and then St. John's is not going to be easy.
Everett speed gives St. John's trouble. St. John's size gives Central trouble. So it's kind of a mix of styles and matchups too. It's a lot of it has to do with styles and matchups. I'll go back to that day that Central went down to Everett and beat a really good Everett team down there. Was it 2013? If I can remember correctly. That was such a gigantic win for Central Catholic football program wide, erasing kind of the mystique of Everett. That was a really good Everett team. So now it's just another football team for Central. So again, if it's not the game of the week, that Final Four in Division I North is what the
playoff
the
creators of this playoff system were looking for.
I mean, Hector, it's tough to. I mean, Central's had so many good teams that just find a way this time of year, but this team is. I mean, this team has guys stepping up in every facet and go-to guys. And yeah, Bill, I see the smile like they should. That they're recruiting from 20.
No, I was just going to say they have solid depth.
Yes,
and great coaching, so they should. And the other thing is, a lot of the kids from last year have returned this year, so they're not a group of 25 new seniors that this is kind of their first year playing a ton of varsity. There is a boatload of kids returning from last year, so that whole how are we going to beat Everett? It's nope. How do we prepare for this game for us to not make mistakes and for us to win?
But I mean, Hector,
I think that's going to be in there.
Hector, in terms of you being the Hall, the guy who's seen it all, I mean, this Central team, maybe in the last decade, where does in terms of where they're at right now?
Okay, so the disclaimer is that's everyone let you know that's Tim's weekly Hector's old note.
No, not at all. Hall of Famer.
Hector is an old note. Thanks, Tim. Okay, we got that one out of the way.
Nope.
But anyways, where does this Central team rank? That's a good question, Tim. I look at that run, like I said, right around 2013 as like their best run of the decade. If you look at, they threw like 5 guys to UNH out of that crowd, or to D1 schools out of that crowd, and a lot of college players around. So that was probably the golden era. This is, you had Milano, you had Edwards. If this kid is the next one of those 3 at quarterback, the Pereira kid,
sophomore.
Now you're talking the next 3 years. Are they looking at another run? Maybe this is this is like 2011-ish kind of Central, where Milano was a little bit young and learning, and then Kablamo, they took off.
So let me ask a follow-up though, and this is not me being a smartass here. This is the most, to me, deepest team in regards to they don't have 4 or 5 like superstar studs. Like Donadio is a player. Like the fact that you didn't say another pick six,
Cassis,
surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
Cassis, but they're from 1 to 11 offense, 1 to 11 defense. They've got kicking game. They've got the senior goes out, Mercurio, and they don't even miss a beat. And I think that's more what I'm trying to say is it hurt. Kid loses his senior year. That's terrible. But to me, it's the most deepest they've been as far as next kid up. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. This is where this particular team is impressive to me because they truly have a ton of talent all the way through.
All right, Bill, you say that, but I have to take a backhanded jab at myself and my former employer when I go there with the Eagle Tribune, as Coach A loves to bring up. Michael Balsamo, I think, is a captain at UNH, and he's like a 3-year starter at UNH on defense. He was a 0-time Eagle Tribune All-Star, starting 3 years at Central Catholic. So that's how deep those teams were. Central would get 5 or 6 All-Stars with the Trib, and Michael is a 0-time All-Star. It's something Coach A loves to bring up all the time when I see him, that we never put him on an All-Star team, and the kid's a captain at the University of New Hampshire, which, is very rare. I think he's a captain. I know he's a 2-year starter anyways. If I'm wrong about the captaincy, I apologize.
Heck, there's baseball players that played at Central that didn't even start, that are now playing deep into college. So that goes to a whole other conversation.
Right. But I'm just saying,
Drafted.
that depth back in the middle of this decade was really, really good.
And that's why I was
and
more
they have
asking
legit
you a
stud
question.
players.
Yeah, I was more asking you because you're.
But you're right. You're right, Bill. They have the ability to go. Is it 25 to 30 deep, where other teams go 20 deep or 18 deep?
That's all what I'm talking about. And we're talking
totally
solid players, and I think that's where each week practicing against each other and scout teams and things like that, they're doing that all week long. Where your teams that have less of those players, it's much harder to get that quality practice.
And they're getting these guys into the game, whether it's a clutch moment or not. I mean, they're getting these Nathel Achuos and Michael Browns into the mix, so that in those moments, if they're needed next guy up, they're ready.
And that's what happened in North Andover last year. A lot of the reasons why they're doing good this year is a lot of their second, third stringers were getting into games and getting varsity reps against solid high school teams, but not at their level. So I think that does make a huge difference as far as getting guys ready to go.
All right, let's get another playoff game out of the way here. As we mentioned, St. John's Prep, 42-13 over Lowell. 42-0 at the half, just absolutely dominating performance by the Eagles. Aiden Flynn for Lowell had 2 second-half touchdowns, but St. John's just put on a clinic against Lowell, leading into next week.
One of Lowell's strengths is their size, and St. John's' size is bigger, faster, stronger, better, and it just gave Lowell really no chance.
Got to give a shout out to my Haverhill guy on the St. John squad, my man Matt Dushman, former Haverhill travel hoop kid, and he's a captain in their secondary and a receiver. He's a Haverhill guy, and so I definitely have a rooting interest with the Prep. He's a good man, so just want to throw that one out, Matty D. He's a good kid, and they're a solid club, man. This is, like I say, this is when things really heat up with these four now.
All right, so let's get one more non-playoff game out of the way here. 30-28 win from Billerica over Lawrence. 3 lead changes in the fourth quarter before the Indians sealed the victory. Brian Hamilton, 26 carries, 201 yards, 3 TD runs, 2 in the fourth quarter. Nick Gualteri from Billerica, 3 catches, 73 yards, 15-yard TD catch, and a game-clinching fumble recovery. Joey Dufour, junior linebacker, led the defense with 2 fumble recoveries, 1 of 3 that got the turnover belt for Billerica. For Lawrence, Jacob Tamayo for 244 passing yards, 2 TDs. Manny Lara, as we said, 9 catches, 134 yards, a 50-yard TD catch, and an 80-yard kickoff return touchdown. But one of these non-playoff games where both teams found the motivation and made it one hell of a game.
Well, yeah, again, like you say now, it'll be interesting to see who these two teams are matched up with this week now that the teams have fallen out of the playoff bracket. Will they stay with non-playoff teams? Will they, you know what I'm saying? Will they kind of mix them up? Give Lawrence credit, man. If you went to every Lawrence game this year, you've been entertained, win or lose. They're always they had the one clunker a couple weeks back before the Methuen game where they kind of just threw in the towel early, but man, they have battled all year long, and they have been hung around. So give them credit.
Yeah, right from
Those
week 1 against Burlington, that And it's one of those things where you look at a team that trying to find their way, and if they could have, like, you just, what if we play what if all the time, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I mean, in this case, I look at that situation, I'm like, if they could have snuck past Burlington, found a way to win that game, how does their season turn a little bit there in terms of finding the winning ways earlier on?
Yeah,
They've
you
shown
may
the
not have
talent.
lost. You may not have lost to Drake it because now you're battling for another win as opposed to you're battling not to lose, which I think that's what gets Lawrence into trouble. Is if they find themselves up early, it's how do we not screw this up? But big fan of the coach. I think that's a program that looks smaller. I was surprised their numbers are way down, but I think that actually is going to help them as far as coaching and getting kids to cut the mistakes out and cut the losses of players down the road because they're dropping out of school or ineligibility. And I think a smaller, compact team gives Coach Alday an opportunity to really make an impact on a smaller number of guys.
Can we call him the Macho Man now? I was thinking of that this week since I said he'd be good at wrestling promos. Randy Macho Man Audet. Can we do that? Can we go with that?
All day.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
I just want to go. I think we can go. We can make that nickname stick, the Macho Man Randy Audet. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll get into the meat of the playoff games. We will have interview with Matt Chicko as well right after the break here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now right-in-place insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and MAPFRE, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? I just asked Val and his crew to find me a better auto and home insurance deal, and he connected me with Plymouth Rock, where I'm saving more than 40% over my previous insurance. Now, your results may vary, but give Davila and DeFusco a try. They pride themselves on having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or check them out at daviladefusco.com. Hey, I want to tell you about Jen Hamilton, the realtor for Keller Williams Realty. She's licensed in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, and she's a big supporter of all things local, especially youth sports. She's a big backer for Central Catholic and Methuen Athletics, but she's a household name around the Merrimack Valley. Hey, the autumn market is in full swing. If you are thinking of selling, now is the time. Inventory is an all-time low, making this a seller's market. In a seller's market, there's a greater chance for a bidding war on your home. So put Jen Hamilton's 33-plus years of experience to work for you today by calling for a free, no-obligation market analysis of your home. Call Jen at 508-954-7941. A huge supporter of youth athletics. Listen, her record speaks for itself. She's one of the top sellers in the region for Keller Williams Realty. Hamilton is a household word. Call her at 508-954-7941.
All right, I turned the camera off and on. I froze.
Back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. Tim Wood, Hector Longo, Bill Bryant. Let's get a couple other. Let's get the Haverhill game up here. Haverhill, just give some shout outs to Haverhill. 47-13 win for Haverhill over Malden. Haverhill gets their first win of the season. Dasani Houston, 11 rushes, 130 yards, a 68-yard TD run. Tayshawn McGee, a 34-yard TD catch. Giancarlo Figueroa, a 7-yard TD run. Xavier Ramos, 70-yard interception return TD. Aiden Alvarado, 5 carries, 50 yards, a 2-yard TD run. And Carlton Campbell, 8 carries, 52 yards, 1-yard TD run. Didn't give up, guys. I mean, they said it last week after the loss. Let's see what these guys can do with these 4 or 5 remaining games, and they played hard through the game.
Okay, so this is where, though, Tim, this is where I wonder now. Great effort, right? The Haverhill kids had something to play for, get a win. Now what happens? That's what I wonder. I don't want to look forward. I know we should probably be focusing on what the kids did this week and sticking with it. But what happens? Do they get thrown at you already got Lowell, a playoff team, on Thanksgiving. What happens this week? Are they going to end up with the St. John's Andover loser in 2 weeks? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or
yeah.
What kind of situation do they end up with there? Yes, I've lost. St. John's Andover loser. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so
a team that on paper, Hector, is going to absolutely dominate them, and I think that's the part where as the show was going on, I was reflecting, and I remember last season after losing to AB, we ended up going down and playing Reading, and that was a really good football game, and that was a team that Methuen felt like, even though we're out of the playoffs, this is a playoff team. This is a team that has been dominant each and every year, and I think if the matchups were done that way, having those 4 or 5 extra games are meaningful. If they just throw an opponent and say, all right, here you go, Haverhill, you got Everett, and they've already smoked you, that's where kids are going to get hurt. That's where people start quitting and coming away from the sport. That part of it, I think you're right.
So next week's matchups, non-playoff matchups, are out at least. Haverhill is at Cambridge next week. So a test.
Another winnable game, I would guess. I think it's another winnable game, though, for Haverhill, and they'll battle.
Lexington.
Coach simplified things there.
Yep. Lexington at Lowell, Acton Boxborough at Methuen, Waltham at Chelmsford, Lynn English at Billerica. Let me see if I see any. I think that's it.
That traditional Methuen-Acton Boxborough rivalry, Bill.
Yeah. I'm just happy it's at home, even though I'm not thrilled about that, because the visitor bleachers in Acton Boxborough are a little scary. So
are they?
Oh, it's awful. You literally are feeling like you're tipping over into the woods. It's brutal. Okay. Brutal.
All right. So the game that Mr. Bryant and I, to a certain extent, didn't really want to talk, but we do have to talk about it. Andover. Andover with a 40-12 win over Methuen. Dominated. They were up. They basically took their foot off the pedal. They were up 40-0 at the half. Combined score 68-12 over Methuen this year. Josh Ramos, 12 carries, 177 yards, 3 TDs, 2 catches, 28 yards, another receiving touchdown. Scotty Brown, yeoman-like day in terms of the first half, 8 for 8, 103 yards, 2 TDs. Lincoln Beal, Jackson McCarthy, both TD catches. It just wasn't just was not to be for Methuen in terms of finding a way with all these injuries.
The quote of the day yesterday for me, and this, I'm going to get crap for this, and sometimes you just have to tip your cap. And I don't know how many times I heard, just tackle the kid. You're holding on to him. But, man, that Brown kid is so elusive, and he is so fast, and he is running one way. Half of his body looks like he's going left, and he just goes right. And if you're not grabbing him and wrapping him up, as small as he is, he's not going down. And obviously Ramos, once he catches around the corner, if you're not in distance or have the angle, he is absolutely gone as far as his speed.
But then on top, I saw just in Ramos's, and we'll play some highlights as we're talking here, but just in Ramos's TD runs, you could see them missing tackles.
Right. But let's be honest, there's missing tackles, and then there's players that are all-star caliber that are not letting themselves be tackled, and that's the challenge of football. You're in the right position, you're coached to be there, and you miss it. That's on you, and that Bethune's struggling with that right now. But there's also some kids right now that they're not even in the same ballpark as far as trying to catch with their speed. And I think that's the difference. Matchups are tough, but when your heart's not there and you're struggling, you got to be on point against any of these MVC teams.
So I will ask the two of you guys: did Andover come away healthy? That's probably the most important question.
Without question, nothing I saw.
They all shut down. I mean, starters were shut down at the half. So
yeah, and their kicking game, like I said, there's probably other good kickers out there, but their kicking game as a team, as far as punting, which they didn't really do much of punting, but their kickoffs, they're pretty much controlling that part of the game, which will help them as they move forward.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's take a look at the. Let's actually, I don't have that, but in terms of don't have that slide, but in terms of Andover versus St. John's Prep, it's it's always seems to be the hurdle in the way for Andover. Where do we see this Andover team in terms of competing with Prep?
Well, can they match up with the size? Can they battle up front? I think St. John's has premier athletes like Brown and like Ramos on the edge, and the Crowley kid's a heck of a quarterback. So, but will they be able to match up front? It's been okay. Not okay. Andover's been very good in the front 6 or 7 defensively. The last, four straight weeks?
Yeah, 8 points a game in the last 4 games.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer here, guys. It took a 43-yard incredible quarterback run to beat Lowell. So at the end of the day,
you are down, Bill.
No, hey, you're asking me the question.
North Andover had that game against Chelmsford and they got by it.
I understand that. They're also in a lower division. We're talking about Division I. We're talking about St. John's. We're talking about Everett, and we're talking about Central. Andover has some Matthew Slayton, probably one of my Michael Slayton. It's like Michael Slayton, probably one of my favorite non-Anthony Romano best defensive players in the area, but they don't have the depth. We'll talk next week. I want them to do well. It's an MVC team. It's Andover. As much as you don't want to lose to them, you also root for them as they move forward. I just don't think they have the well-rounded talent to hang in that top 4.
You got any uppers to balance that, Hector?
Look, their speed on a carpet, I give them a chance. I really do. I give them a chance. Now, I know Bill is Mr. It's going to be an all-Catholic final, and I'm going to be angry. But I'm just saying, look, I can tell you, EJ's not in this to win the MVC large or take second in the MVC large. He's in this to win the whole thing. So the bar is set to beat the Prep and beat Central and move on. Whether or not they get there, that's a different story. But you act like they're not showing up. They're not even.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, they smoked Methuen. They're
okay.
They're putting it
Let
together.
Let me rephrase that. You act like they shouldn't even bother to show up. That's I just say they're a solid underdog, a legit giant underdog.
So you're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing I just did, Hector. A solid underdog, a huge underdog. I'm saying the same thing. They've got an incredible kicking game. They've got a freshman quarterback who I think is phenomenal. They've got Slayton. They've got a solid line. They have this kid that Tim talks about once in a while, Ramos. They have a ton of the tools. They deserve to be in the game. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be able to beat St. John's. That's all I was saying.
Bill is dying for an all-Catholic final. He's dying for an all-Catholic North final.
I can get that in the Catholic school championship game too. So why would I want a Catholic school all final in the public school one and the Catholic? No,
back in the day, Bill, I was lobbying for the Catholic New England Super Conference with Bishop Girton and Bishop Hendricken and the mass schools all together playing it. Huh?
When,
I think now with Bill lobbying, we should include the New Jersey Catholic Conference too, and bring in Bergen Catholic and St. Don Bosco and those schools too into my
make it
Super
a
League.
super conference.
Yes, yes. So
Not
that's what I think we should do. But
boredom.
forget about your Elite Eight Catholic championship. I want to go strictly regional now. We'll go regional. We'll fly to Jersey and take on Bergen Catholic, and
Go to the
I'm in
Bronx,
for
play
that.
Fordham Prep.
Hey, the money's there, so let's just do it.
Listen to you.
Private planes. Mac Daddies.
All right.
All right.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question here?
All seriousness, yes.
Yes, because I've had enough of blowouts. Why have we not talked about Tewksbury and Lynn English? Is there a reason why?
Oh, we are talking. Yeah, we're talking about them.
That's the
We
game
have an
of
interview,
the
so
week.
that's why we're kind of.
All right,
Yeah.
just because we hadn't mentioned it once. Okay.
Yep, we're getting there.
That was just for me. All right, I just wanted to know. That's okay.
And for those
I know
we're getting there.
Astute point.
Yes.
Okay.
Once again, at our breakfast meeting this morning with our raspberry cornbread.
All right. So let's talk. Well, you know what? Let's talk Tewksbury now, since you said it. Let's talk.
We don't have much left though, too, because we're close to that noontime thing. But
we are hard break. So Tewksbury.
What's that noontime thing, Bill?
31-14 lead in the third quarter. We mentioned it earlier. Tyler Keogh just did everything in this game. 5 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown. 8 carries, 27 yards on the ground. Threw a 19-yard touchdown pass on a trick play. Ran back a 35-yard run on a trick lateral play on a kickoff. Kicked a 29-yard field goal. Kicked 4 PATs. I mean, I'm not sure if one guy could have had more of an impact on a game than Tyler Keogh did this weekend.
Look, they got out to the big lead and hung on, though, Tim. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, and yeah, they needed some big plays. They needed some first downs on the ground, and they needed Ryan Rametta and Kyle Dorigo to step up in those moments, and Keogh, and they got it, and they held on 31-28. It's you mentioned it earlier, Bill. I mean, Lynn English, a very tough 7 seed. Do we just take this as a good scare moment for Tewksbury but not to worry in terms of conquer Carlisle in terms
I think an older, wiser man last week, who's been around for decades, Hector Longo, said that this could be the game that knocks Tewksbury off. This was a very, very good 7 seed that I think had some early struggles against some good teams and has found their way. I sent you the video, Tim. They have a running back that is potentially going D1, top 10 college teams, formidable, 6'3", 240. He was a man. And I think Hector said it last week. If Tewksbury's going to get knocked off, and early on, this is the team that's going to do it. And I think everything proved out on that 30-28. I think their coaching and their team strength got them out early, and then Lynn English, fought back and almost pulled off. I wouldn't even call it an upset. Almost pulled out the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jim Cunningham chimes in, says 2 very good football teams. That's all it was. Not a knock on Tewksbury in terms of the score whatsoever.
No, and if you're Elwood and you win that game, what a message your team just sent you, that we're ready to go. We're battling their depth, every man up, everyone is playing. They rely on everyone, and their best player is still out. So for them, no shame. Each week they're moving forward with more and more confidence, and that to me is a scary thing in any high school sport in any level. So for Coach Elwood, it's back to the basics, back to the discipline and no mistakes. And I'm having fun watching them.
All right, Bill, we know you got to get out.
Hector's going to get out too, by the way.
Yeah, we all got to get out. So your MVP pick before we let you go.
Hector, you want to go first, or are you all right with me?
Because you got to go. So
My MVP. Hold on, let me just call them back up again.
Josh Ramos, Tyler Keogh, Will Schindler, Manny Lara.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the man that did it all in every aspect of the football game yesterday, Tyler Keogh.
Could be the first 2-time winner this year. All right,
and I think deservedly so.
All right.
Bill, I want to let Bill know my pick was going to be before we let him go, and I'm going with Schindler. Strictly out of perseverance, to fight his way back and to have a big game in a playoff game like that. I'm going with North Andover's Will Schindler.
All right. So Bill, we know you got a heart out here, and we will talk to you next week. But Bill joined us earlier for a great interview. We will now talk to the quarterback from the Tewksbury Redmen, Ryan Rametta.
Tim, real quick, though. Get out and vote on Tuesday.
All right, we're here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Bill Bryant, Tim Wood. We are thrilled to be joined by the quarterback from the Tewksbury Redmen, Ryan Rametta. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. I love the show, by the way.
Oh, hey, appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's,
Thank you.
You were, I mean, like when you with some guys, you can tell they're kind of like, I'll get up on a Sunday for you. All right, I got to promote myself. But like when I reached out to you, you were just like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All my friends on the team love the show. We all love the polls. It's really fun. It's really great. I love it. Thank you guys.
And there's nothing better than coming off a huge playoff win. To then wake up and be like, all right, let's talk to the quarterback, the junior quarterback from Tewksbury.
It's like Dion, really, you know, when you ball, you get the call, you know? All right, so definitely balled yesterday. I mean, you guys built a 31-14 lead against Lynn English. They made it interesting for sure, but you guys,
they did.
Yeah, you guys got it done right at the end and got the first down you needed and took care of business, 31-28. Tell us a little bit in terms of what it's been like taking over the reins of this team in such a program rich with history, rich with tradition. What's it been like for you as leader this year?
This year I just wanted to step in, really help manage the team because last year we had a great quarterback in Jay Conley. So I just wanted to help try to fill those shoes. I knew Coach Elwood would really help me be able to thrive out there on the field. And early in the season, Shane really helped me out in the beginning of the year. He's been great. Even without him, these last few games, he's been amazing. Everyone else has helped me from the offensive line, all the receivers. They've all really helped me a lot. So it's been easy for me. Not easy, but it's been easier. They made it easier.
Ryan, would it be fair to say that in the beginning of the season, being a new quarterback, being the first time playing starting varsity, that it was more about Ryan, just do your job, don't make mistakes, and manage, and to be able to go into the playoffs and go deep. At some point, they were going to have to call on you to really take your talents, take your skills, and start doing things that were to get some points on the board and a score, but more on your own. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Yeah. At first in the season, I was kind of struggling to really read the defense, but now everything's starting to slow down, and it would really just let my skills take over and be able to play freely. Yeah.
You can definitely see that just in your stats and how the game has gone. And obviously you don't want to see someone like Elwood go down. But I think that's almost kind of forced you in that driver's seat to be, okay, I got to make the pass now. I got to make the run. I've got to do these things because we're losing one of our stars. So you've handled that. You've handled that really well.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit in terms of just as Bill mentioned and you mentioned with Shane going down. Shane's been a huge star, featured on the show many times over the last year and a half. What's it been like in terms of having to step up into that role?
It's been, you had to adjust a little. Everyone, it's not just one guy now. It's more everyone really has to step up. And Kyle Dorigo, Tyler Keogh, they've really stepped up on offense. Offensive line, they have to work even harder now because that's a really great player, like that can just make plays, but now you really have to block for everyone. So he's a really good player, but everyone else has now stepped up, and now we can all play as a team.
I mean, is there anything that Tyler Keogh didn't do yesterday? I mean,
Oh,
literally
he does it
every
all. He
facet
literally
of
does
the
it all.
game.
Yeah.
He threw.
Yeah, he's great.
He kicked. He extra points, running, catching. I mean, that was insane. Looking at that stat line.
He was great. You know, we've had a really good connection these past few games, and I just want to keep moving that forward. You know, and with Shane coming back, it'll be good. It'll be really good. It'll be fun.
So, Ryan, I have to ask you, Methuen scrimmaged Lynn English over the summer, and they have a pretty talented player on that team.
Yes.
Played running back. There's a video on Twitter that showed him, basically it looked almost like Shaquille O'Neal kind of running through the line. Talk. I know you guys won. I know we're moving on to the next round, but talk a little bit about how big that kid was and
Yeah, he was probably the biggest kid we've seen all year. He was probably the most talented kid we've seen all year. He didn't actually give up on offense or defense. He was really good for them. Strong kid. He was fast. He could do it all. He could really do it all. He was a game changer.
What kind of looks like a man in high school football clothes? Would you say that?
Yeah, for sure. He's a guy you would see on TV almost. Yeah.
And there's potential. I'm pretty sure he's being looked at by some of the.
Yeah, he has plenty of offers. Yeah, he's going to be going somewhere. He's a great player.
Yeah, so it'll be kind of fun down the road to see him maybe playing at Ohio State or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I beat him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Because it's a fact. You guys did beat him.
Yeah, that's true.
So in terms of, I mean, coming off of last season, you had some varsity experience backing up, coming off of just a dream season last year for the Redmen. How has it been just in terms of finding the team's own identity within this incredible history in Tewksbury?
This year's identity is a little different than last year. Last year, like, everyone had to play both ways, but I think we have a little more depth this year. We're using everyone from all 22 guys. They're all stepping up, and even more than that, our scout team, they're doing a great job this year. They're really helping us. We're just trying to build off of last season. We're not just trying to we went last year, great, but we want to go back. We really do. We want to go back.
How good are the Fleming brothers as
Amazing.
far as being part of that?
They want to hit everything that moves. They do. They are the most physical players I've ever played with.
So we're talking with Ryan Rametta from the Tewksbury Redmen here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant. Ryan, tell us just a little bit about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up, and when'd you get to Tewksbury?
Well, I grew up in Panama City, Florida until 7th grade. I moved in the middle of 7th grade to Tewksbury because my mom got a job in Boston. It was a big change weather-wise, obviously, but
yeah. I lived down near Hilton Head, South Carolina for about 10 years before coming back up this way. And a little different.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I've managed well and I've adjusted pretty good, and it's been fun. I like it here in Tewksbury. I really do.
What got you centered on the quarterback position?
I just grew up watching TV, watching Tom Brady, watching all the greats, Drew Brees, all of them. I just love watching them manage the game, make big throws, and being able to lead their team to Super Bowls, and it's really been fun. And I just would love to be able to do that, and I'm trying to do that this year with Tewksbury.
What do you think as a quarterback is the most challenging part of the job? The huddle, the defense, the pressure that pretty much everything on offense starts and ends with you. What are some of the things that
Yeah, I think you really got to be a leader out there. You're almost like another coach, kind of. You got to get everyone dialed in. And you also have to go out there and play too. So, and I like it. I think it's fun being able to lead all the guys and call the play in the huddle. And I think I hope they like me calling the play in the huddle, and I'm pretty sure they do. And I want to be able to rally them and get them going.
How do you take care of your linemen, Ryan? Those are the kids that get no love, no juice, but being the guy that's standing right behind them, that they are getting punched, kicked, scratched, hit to the head, all to just protect you.
Yeah, we got to keep them motivated. They love the block. They love getting into the mix. Actually, every week our coach, Coach Norton, he every Thursday before a walkthrough, he'll buy them chocolate milk and a snack, feed them, and they love it. They all love it. It's really fun.
I mean, that's classic right there.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed in 20 years, 25, 30 years. The linemen still like their food and drinks.
Oh,
and
yeah, definitely.
They want some love. But
2 gallons, it's all gone. Yeah, it's really great.
Probably in a couple chugs, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Nice. So in terms of we're gonna towards the end we'll give, because Tyler's back on the MVP vote this week. I mean, I couldn't fit all of his line in Twitter. It would have just been him, other than making the pitch for 3 others.
Yeah,
so, we'll give you that campaign pitch here in a few minutes, but tell us, like, off the field, when you do have time just to chill, like, what do you like to do?
Usually I just like to relax, play video games. I'm a big Madden guy. Right now I really don't have that much time because of football season, but
nothing going on.
Yeah. But yeah, video games. I like watching TV. I like tonight, Sunday night. It's gonna be real fun. Pats Ravens. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be real fun watching Lamar and Tom Brady go at it. I like that. That's about what I do in my free time. Homework, obviously.
You're a 3-sport guy: basketball, baseball. How do you balance that? I know in season it's really hard, but basketball starts, possibly in the middle of maybe going to another game after Thanksgiving, which is great. How do you stay fresh with hoops?
You just gotta find time. Like today, I'm going down to the YMCA today, and I'm gonna go around, shoot around, get ready. It's gonna be a good hopefully a good basketball season. Just gotta find time, just be committed. I know our team is working hard this offseason, the guys that don't play football and the guys that do play football, like Kalu, Alu, and Mikey Kelly. They all play basketball.
What's your spot in basketball? What's your position?
I'm more of a shooting guard. I like to shoot it. Yeah.
Couldn't have figured it. I had to hear it though. So.
Yeah.
So with you guys kind of killing it on the football field right now, back in the playoffs, how is it walking the halls at Tewksbury as far as the starting quarterback of a football team? Look at the smiles already starting to come on the face.
Yeah, it's fun. Teachers will be like, "Oh yeah, great game," and all that. But it's normal. I still feel like a normal high school kid. It's nothing. It's special, but it's not like you see on Friday Night Lights on the movies or anything like that. But it is fun. It's cool. I think it's cool.
You're not floating down the hallway. You're still acting.
You're
right?
still.
Well, and I would, even if you were floating, I would imagine Coach Aylward and staff kind of bring you back to earth real quick anytime they see any big heads, right?
Definitely.
Tell us about Coach Aylward and just playing for him and your offensive coaches.
They've all been great. Coach Aylward has been really great. They've all really helped slow the game down for me, really helped me like with coverages and all the routes and all my steps and everything. Just being able to know what everyone is doing. They've really helped me out with that a lot. They've broke everything down to make it really easy for me, and it's just been amazing. Couldn't have made it easier for me.
As a young kid, though, was there ever a time that he went from being someone who you were kind of intimidated by because of his knowledge? He's a tough guy. He knows what he knows. Was there ever a period of time where you were intimidated, where now it's okay, we're talking to each other? I'm learning from him, or I'm just wondering as a player for him, because he's a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, in 8th grade is when I really started to meet him. He was, I was like, oh my God, the great. I've heard so much about him. But now it's just like he's really helped me. He's a great coach, and everyone should know that he is probably one of the best coaches in the state actually, and he's just been awesome for me and the whole team.
I mean, I know you. Yeah, I mean, I know you're just a junior, but I mean, it's gotta be a good feeling now to know that you're part. I mean, this program. I mean, to be part of this fraternity, to be part of this crew, and do what you guys are doing. That's something that lasts a long time beyond the college, beyond the high school years. I know that's kind of tough to grasp at this point, but
yeah.
I mean, you gotta. I would imagine you're seeing the alumni around at a lot of the games. And you feel that history, right?
Yes, it's crazy. They all come back. It's almost like a little reunion every Saturday we play at Doucette. They all love watching us play, and they support us, and they love seeing us win. And we just want to give that win for them, the people that like wore the jersey before us and really fought before us. So it's really good.
You mentioned something cool before that I just want to hit back on that folks might not think a lot about, but the minute you said it, I'm like, yeah, of course. You kind of use Madden as almost a simulator.
Yeah. I kind of look. I play it like I just look at the coverages, and it helps me it almost helps me in a game because like I see like certain patterns, and I'll see the way the corners are playing, and that's when I know like how to read. It really does help you read coverages. Like I think it's really good for me, and I don't know if it helps anyone else, but it does help me.
Do you feel like as a quarterback your mind works differently? Do you feel like the quarterback fraternity, you guys just have a different, I won't say different level of, I mean, every position is difficult. Every position has its own trick to figure out. But just from the quarterback position, is it incredibly unique? In terms of rest of the positions?
Yes, for sure. Not only do you have to go out there and play and make all these big throws and stuff like that, but you also have to like lead your team and like really gather them around and like lead them and yeah.
And I think the part
serious, yeah.
Right, I think the part, Ryan, that people forget too is if a player on the offense does the wrong thing, they're going to get, spoken to, yelled at. But as a quarterback, you get yelled at too because you should have known where they were going. So, Tim, I think the difference is not only do you have to know your position and the impact it has, but really you got to know what everyone else is doing, what their responsibilities are. Because if they don't go in motion, if they don't do something they're supposed to, it throws off the whole play. And the quarterback gets yelled at because you should have told them to go in motion, even though that's his job.
For sure, definitely.
The pressure part of it on the quarterback is intense.
Yes, definitely. It happened a couple times this Saturday, but we still came out on top, so that's good.
We'll fix that this week.
Yes, we will.
Now, who do we have this Saturday?
Concord Carlisle. Yeah, they're gonna be a good team. They just beat Beverly, I'm pretty sure. They're gonna be really good. But we're gonna try to execute. We're just gonna try to play a clean game and try to hopefully make it to the next round.
I mean, that's one of the things that is obviously a staple of Coach Aylward and been a staple of one of the successes for any team, but especially this team. You guys play such a clean game.
Yeah. And
it's so buttoned down between lack of penalties and just clean routes, clean cuts. I mean, it's got to be fun for you to see kind of the whole orchestra come together, right?
Yeah, for sure. In the beginning of the year, we weren't as clean, especially in that Methuen game, obviously, as you guys know. A lot of penalties. Just everything wasn't really going right for all of us. But so we just wanted to clean that up and make sure we're like very disciplined and everything's clean so we can have a really good, clean game.
All right.
Yeah.
So in terms of just before we let you go, again, we're talking to Ryan Rametta here, Tewksbury quarterback here on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to give to parents, to family, to friends, teachers, in terms of who helps you, every day?
Definitely mom and dad, my little brother.
Names?
The offensive line. My mom is Katie Rametta, and Michael Rametta is my dad. Barrett, my little brother, he's great. The offensive line, definitely. My center, Antonio Capello. Left tackle, Mike Woodford. Left guard, Robbie Kimtis, who has been really good for us, really leading the offensive line. Steven Arsenault, Kyle Skrock, and Anthony DeSisto, they've all been really good on the line.
Bill, that's pro tip right there. That's
without question.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Legit on the shout outs. All right. Before we let you go, I mentioned it. Tyler's back up. Tough competition. Josh Ramos, you got Manny Lara, and who am I forgetting? You got and then Will Schindler from North Andover. So give us your best campaign pitch for Tyler. He's already won, so you guys obviously know how to get out the vote.
Yeah, all those guys are great players. Huge shout out to them. But Tyler did everything. Literally everything. You can name it. He threw it. He caught it. He ran it. He kicked return. He did it all. And I think he deserves it. I think he really does. All
right. Bill, any last thoughts from you here?
No, I'm not endorsing anyone right now, but as you look through the stats, the closest game, the most difficult game of the weekend was, Lynn English was no joke. They got a kid, they got a pretty big stud on that team. And you guys, obviously won. So his stats seem to be a little bit more meaningful than some of the other numbers put up.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Lynn English. They were actually a really good team. They were no joke, especially as a 7 seed. They're probably the best 7 seed you're gonna ever see in a while. Question. So yeah, definitely.
All right, so, listen, we talked to Matt Chicko earlier from North Andover. He called us. He dialed in via Skype from Baltimore. He's going to the Ravens game tonight with his family.
Lucky him, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, but you are the first. Like, you came legit with the headphones. And
I was ready. I was excited.
That's pro stuff right there.
Yeah, I was excited. This is a great show. I love watching it every week. I enjoy it a lot.
Awesome, Ryan.
We're rooting for you guys. You guys went deep last year, and you're definitely a group. You got great coaches. You guys are all competitors. I grew up with the Fleming brothers' father, and we're rooting for you guys to keep going forward and keep winning.
Thank you so much. And shout out to Connor Bryan. He played great against us week 2. But
thank you.
Next year we'll try to get him. We'll try to get him back.
All right, Ryan Rametta, Tewksbury quarterback. Huge thank you for joining us here on MVC Gridiron Week.
Anytime.
All right, hopefully next.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Great interview from Ryan Rametta. Great kid. Tewksbury, huge win. Big game coming up against Concord Carlisle. Take a quick break. Come back. Talk North Andover. We'll talk to Matt Chicko as well. Wrap things up with Hector. We'll do that right after the break here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now right-in-place insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and MAPFRE, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? I just asked Val and his crew to find me a better auto and home insurance deal, and he connected me with Plymouth Rock, where I'm saving more than 40% over my previous insurance. Now, your results may vary, but give Davila and DeFusco a try. They pride themselves on having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or check them out at daviladefusco.com. Back here on MVC Gridiron Weekly, Tim Wood, Hector Longo. Bill has left the building at this point. He's like Phil Rizzuto at the Yankee games. Had to get out before the traffic, I guess. Get a couple things, just a couple of shout-outs out of the way. First of all, just want to throw it back out, our Football Squares contest. We will be promoting this a little bit during the week because we are trying to make this a little bit of a thing, a fundraiser for the Merrimack Valley Online Journalism Initiative, the folks behind MVC Gridiron Weekly. First game, November 10th, Sunday Night Football, Vikings versus Cowboys. $10 a square, 100 squares total. Buy as many as you like. You see the information on the screen. PayPal, Venmo. That's how you pay. Once your money is received, we send you the link to pick your square and track all your squares, all the progress online. You got a chance to win money. Your school has a chance to win money if the top school that shows out for this will get $100 to their boosters program. So trying to cover all of the squares here. Hope you'll participate. One other thing that we want to just say real quick is Country Kitchen, the proud supporters of the Rangers, report on MVC Gridiron Weekly. Not a great report for the Rangers this week, but Country Kitchen, always a good meal. Best haddock in the Merrimack Valley, hands down. Fish Fridays, get over there, $12.99, unbelievable deal. So huge shout out to Country Kitchen. All right, Hector, North Andover, they took care of business against Westford, 35-7. Schindler with a big game, 3 touchdowns, 300 yards total, 248 in the air, 52 on the ground. Matt Chicko, a huge day, 4 catches, 97 yards, 67-yard touchdown to start the second half. Brutus, Gavin, Mencia, huge days. The defense, they basically took care of business against a weaker Westford team.
Okay, so we talked about how Lynn English was a team you didn't want to see. I think North Andover is a team you don't want to see in that bracket, simply because it's a team that's been very war tested without its leader, without its quarterback, and they survived and went to the MVC battles. All of a sudden now, for a different way here, they're a team that could be very dangerous here in that bracket. Simply because of the wars they've been through. Now it gets interesting a little bit more, but you gotta like what North Andover's done over the second half to be prepared for this.
And I think if I got it up on the screen now that they're traveling to Reading, a new experience for them over the last couple of years in terms of having to hit the road, other than Gillette, but Reading, I think in terms of what we've seen from Reading, they match up well overall.